And then following up on the questions about gas prices again, just kind of taking a step back, there's some Republicans who have taken this moment where they've seen gas prices spike to criticize sort of the administration big picture, right? Canceling Keystone Pipeline, halting leases for new drilling leases on federal land, saying that sort of the administration's policies writ large have contributed to the rise in gas prices. What's your response now to that?
Our response is that one, we haven't canceled existing there are existing leases that are continuing. Just to be clear, I know you know that. Not new leases, but just to be clear, and I know that's been a criticism, so that's why I said that, not an accurate one. Look, our view is that the rise in gas prices over the long term makes an even stronger case for doubling down our investment and our focus on clean energy options so that we are not relying on the fluctuations and OPEC and their willingness to put more supply and meet the demand in the market. That's our view. We feel that, but we also feel that there are a number of actors here, including price gouging, that we have concerns and we've seen out there. We've asked the FTC to look into the need for OPEC to release more, that are the larger issues here, and that's why we've been focused on those options. Let me just keep going around. Go ahead.
Thanks. I think it's following up on this, and I kind of want to go at this inflation question a little bit differently. I mean, it seems like the White House is making a lot of promises on inflation, but there are some concerns that the White House or a president doesn't have a lot of power over inflation. And even when you talk about energy prices in particular, like gasoline, you're talking about the FTC doing investigations. That's a common tactic. It usually doesn't turn up very much. Tapping the SPR, that's a short-term thing. It's not a long-term thing. So I guess my question is, for the White House, you're making these promises. How do you deliver, especially on things on like gasoline, food prices? Yes, you can deal with child care costs, but these kind of bread and butter issues, how do you actually deliver on that?
Well, some of the biggest costs, the reason I touched on those is some of the biggest costs for households and Americans, and the way they feel inflation is not typically looking at a graph, right? They're looking at the costs and how things are impacting them, are things like housing and childcare and healthcare.
Gasoline is a very
correct, but those are big costs on people's households, and that's why I addressed and raised those issues. I'd also note that every outside economist, a vast majority, I guess I should say, predicts that inflation will come down next year. That is what outside experts are predicting. So what we're really talking about is how we cut costs in the short term. I've outlined a number of ways we would cut costs. I would note that we don't have partnership from most Republicans on that. We hear a lot of screaming about inflation. We don't hear a lot of solution agreement or willingness to participate in a solution, and that's really, or discussion of a solution, and that's really what we're looking for at this point in time. So I noted that the way that we can, and how outside economists are projecting we can address inflationary issues, is by continuing to push this agenda forward, past the agenda, because it will help spur economic growth, it will help spur productivity, and also because it's fully paid for. And that's why outside economists, Larry Summers, Moody's, Mark Zandi, don't think it will have a negative inflationary impact.